Hi, well, welcome to our second discussion posting. First of all, I wanted to say that I thought the discussion board exercise, our first one, went so well. The idea of people sharing what was going on with the thoughts of the flattening the curve, I was so impressed with the post. I was so impressed with everybody's kind of very graceful responses and encouraging responses to each other. And I'm hoping you're enjoying this. I know since we're not together in class, you are probably like, okay, well, are a lot of people doing this discussion board or not? If you got on, you probably saw there were quite a few. Um, I would say about 80% of the students in all four classes did the discussion board and on this first one, and I was super impressed with it. Um, I've been getting some email questions from folks, and I thought I would just really quickly touch base on a few things. Number one, for those of you that are thinking about your advisor meeting, not just with me, but with other academic advisors on campus, right? You know, kind of the undergrads, grad students thinking about, like, what am I going to be taking in the autumn? The faculty are moving forward with advising. You'll be getting information online if you haven't already. For those that are my advisees, you'll be getting an email with an opportunity to schedule some times. Don't worry. We will still get your advising holds off so that you can get your shopping cart set up and you can get enrolled in the class that you're looking for. So stay in contact with your advisor. It's not a bother to send them emails. We're happy to hear from you and know, yes, we are working on that. All right. Number two, a lot of folks said, okay, Dan, I've seen your video and I've read your note, but I'm not quite sure what's going on. Do we still have, sorry, I'm touching my face and I'm going to be in trouble. Folks are asking, like, okay, so we're seeing this video. We see that you've got a syllabus. You've told us a few things. Number one, we're not in trouble if we miss something that was required by a particular date. We don't fail the class. All right, good, you got that. Number two, we are going to do all the stuff that's on the syllabus. We're just going to slide it back a little bit. No, I haven't sent a new syllabus yet. So if you're saying, well, I don't know what the new syllabus is, relax. It's okay. You will get the new syllabus. We're focusing on this discussion board exercise right now. Let me explain why. When things are disrupted, right? Most of us dig in and think like, well, how am I going to deal with this disruption? And one way to do it is to stay super busy and work a lot. Other people will become depressed. Some of us become very anxious. There's lots of different ways of dealing with situations being kind of ungrounded or losing what's going on. One of the most important aspects that we need to think about during all this situation is how do we take care of not just our cognitive, our knowledge, but also our mental, our emotional health. Having routines, doing things on a regular basis is well known to be one of the best ways to help people get over emergency situations, to get over kind of unusual situations. So I've added this discussion board as an optional extra activity. Nope, doesn't appear on the syllabus yet. It's something that's optional. It's something that's extra. It's something I'm encouraging and inviting you to do so that we develop some kind of normalcy, so that we say, okay, you know what? I'm not the only one dealing with this situation. We're all in this together. The professor's in this together with us. We're going to get through this together. We're going to get to the real work that we had in our class, but we're going to do it by starting in this optional discussion board activity. So I invite you to continue to participate. I invite you to log on each day and watch these quick videos and give your comments in the discussion board and comment on somebody else. And let's use those to work towards increasing your letter grade. Yes, we will get back and we'll do the work on the syllabus. We've got some time to do that, but let's set up a routine for how we're interacting online so that you're like, okay, I've got a rhythm. I wake up in the morning and there's a purpose. I need to hop online, watch this video, and participate in this discussion board. Now, what about those of you that said, okay, I hear you, Dan, but I'm still struggling. Who do I email my document to? Let me repeat myself. There will be an updated syllabus. We'll take your documents, but relax. If you're really anxious to email something to somebody right now, by all means, attach a PDF to an email, send me an email, do include in the subject line the course that this refers to, and I'll make sure it gets to a proper person to take a look at it and grade it. My strong advice would be relax. You'll have plenty of time to work on our assignments. You can focus on the updated syllabus when you get it. There'll be plenty of time to work on things. Right now, let's settle into the routine of this discussion board. Now, today's discussion board activity. We talked about how to flatten the curve and what that meant on our first discussion. This is our second one. Let's move out of the head space and let's move into the heart space. I'm really good at asking people, what do you think about that? I'm not so good about asking people, how does that make you feel? And when we think about it, knowledge, skills, and attitudes are all part of what we need to learn in school. We need to learn knowledge, 2 + 2 = 4. We need to learn skills, how to actually punch that into a calculator. But we also need to know how that makes us feel. Now, when I think about like 2 + 2 = 4, you might think like, I don't know, how am I supposed to feel about that? Well, it depends on what the 2's and the 2's and the 4's are, and then we oftentimes have a feeling. Like, if I've got some friends and I'd like to have some more friends, and I'm a person that values friends, then maybe having more friends is a good thing. So 2 + 2 = 4 friends, I'd be super excited about that. Or maybe I'm a person who's pretty frugal. I'm fiscally conservative. I don't like to waste money. And so I look at 2 + 2 = 4 and you say, I have to spend $2 on this and I have to spend $2 more, and I'm upset because you're asking me to spend $4 instead of $2. I don't like 2 + 2 = 4. So it's not just the information, the 2, and it's not just the skill, how to punch it in the calculator. It's the what the thing is. And what kind of emotion and feeling does it elicit from us? So let's pivot a little bit. We talked originally in the first discussion about what does it mean to talk about flattening the curve. Some of you gave some brilliant ideas. I was super impressed. For those of you that didn't get a chance to go on and kind of look at some of your colleagues, I encourage you to, because there are some amazing ideas out there. But today I'd like to pivot a little bit. I'd like to say, okay, that was the knowledge space and maybe the skills space of what do we do. Some of you did a fantastic job sharing your stories, how this kind of shaving the curve or bending the curve, or what that meant to you in terms of your stories. And I loved those. That's awesome. I'm so proud of you for being brave to share your story. Let me lean into that space. Let me push into that a little bit more myself. Today's discussion board exercise is, how are you feeling about this emergency situation? Moving to online classes, dealing with things being disrupted. How is it making you feel? And I'm going to tell you how it's going to make me feel and how I'm dealing with it. And I'd like your discussion board to start with something like, this is making me feel an XYZ, and talk about it. Now, that's going to be tough because we usually don't talk about our feelings a whole lot, particularly not like in a class space. And I'm not encouraging us, well, let's just be all touchy-feely. That's not where we're still learning. And so this is about looking for the honesty of how other people are dealing with their feelings, what other people are feeling, and then also how do we listen to other people's feelings? How do we hear them? So I'm really encouraging you to spend some time in your responses on the discussion board. Maybe respond to more than just one. Maybe reach out in an encouraging way to people. Show grace. Let's not shout each other down. We're going to have differences of views. But certainly in the space of feelings, people are entitled to have their feelings. So let me share mine. First of all, I'm a husband. I'm a dad. I go to church. I work hard as a professor. I have hopes and dreams and aspirations. And all of those things have been disrupted for me right now. And so I feel all kinds of things. Like one minute, I'm super happy and proud, and I'm working with 150 students online at a discussion board, and things are going great. And then the next minute, I'm angry. And sometimes I'm sad. And I'm angry because I worked for years to put together a trip to the United Kingdom. See, I'm supposed to be leaving in about 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and I'm supposed to be spending like the next 4 months living in London, and my family's supposed to come and live there with me, and I'm supposed to work on this really cool antibiotic resistance project. And I first came up with the idea for that in 2016. I applied for that in 2017, found out that I won it in 2018, put everything together in 2019 so that I could go on this trip in 2020. So for those of you that said, hey, I had my perfect spring break planned and it fell apart. For those of you that are saying, you know what, I'm supposed to get married this spring and it fell apart. We can't do the wedding that I thought I was going to do. For those of you that are thinking, they canceled class. I wonder what's going to happen to graduation. I wonder what that's going to look like. You know what? I'm in the same boat that you're in, and I feel frustrated. I wish I knew what was going to happen. So I have times when I feel super angry. I have times when I feel super frustrated. I have times when I feel super sad. Talking with my wife, she said, you know, Dan, those are actually all parts of what we would call in healthcare depression. It doesn't mean that I can't get out of bed. It means that I'm having a little bit difficulty when I get these like feelings that kind of feel overwhelming, recognizing them, processing them, saying, you know what, I'm feeling disappointed right now, and let's not turn that into being snappy with my wife or kids because I'm feeling disappointed. And I'm not disappointed because the kids are doing something. I'm not disappointed because my wife's doing something. I'm disappointed because I can't go on a trip that I spent 4 years planning for. And that's going to cause me to be a little bit more irritable, a little bit more snappy. So how do I deal with that being irritable and snappy? Now, I'm a professor. I planned this trip for 4 years. That's not happening. So I'm irritable and snappy and frustrated, and I'm a husband and dad. I've got a couple of kiddos. This stuff feels scary. You know, when I look at some of the information, when I read information, I think, okay, you know what? More than likely, these control measures will work, and this thing will all burn out, and that's great. If that doesn't happen, then probably one or more of the four of us will get sick, and probably that person will recover with no problem. They'll be sick for a week or two. They'll have a high fever. Maybe they'll have a little bit difficulty breathing. They'll feel miserable because it's the flu, but they'll get over it. We all get sick. We all have allergies in the spring and get a head cold. We all have a cough. We get over it. And so that's probably what's going to happen. But it doesn't mean that that's the only thing that can happen. And so, yeah, there's times that I feel a little bit scared. Even though I know my family's probably going to be just fine. So what do I do with that scared? You know, how do I respond to it? What's the reasonable way to deal with that feeling? I might feel numb. I might feel nothing. I might feel super anxious. I might respond to that fear by rushing out and buying toilet paper. I haven't. I might respond to that fear by saying things like, I wonder, do I need to own a gun? Do I need to buy extra food? Do I need to stock up on medicine? Should I have an extra thermometer around? You know, I mean, these are all very practical questions that you're left asking yourself when you say, oh, you know what? It's more than just me to take care of. How do I do it? I want to be wise. I want to be reasonable, but it is kind of a fearful situation. So how do I manage that? Well, you know what? I still hop in the car and drive somewhere, and I could be in a car wreck. The kids still eat food, and they could choke on something. You know, we go to bed every night in our house, and somebody could break in. There could be a fire. So I do the best I can to take care of those things. We have a fire extinguisher. We have a smoke detector. I drive the speed limit and wear my seatbelt. All right? I'm doing things to manage those risks. I'm doing things that are reasonable cost to help myself feel less fearful. Those are good things to do. And so I would encourage you, when you're posting on the discussion board, talk about what's disappointing, what's upsetting, what seems absurd. You might see people doing things online or see people discussing things online that you're like, that just doesn't make any sense. This is a space where you can talk about that. I'm asking you to share, how are you feeling about this? Now, it's going to be difficult because some of us aren't going to want to share what we're feeling. Some are going to share, like, I don't feel anything. And you might think, like, I don't know, is there something wrong with me because I'm not feeling anything? Nope, there's nothing wrong with you whatsoever. I'm asking a simple question. On this discussion board for today, our second discussion board, how does it make you feel to deal with this situation of being in online learning and not knowing quite what's going on and not know what's going on next? And in particular, I'm asking you to spend some thoughtful time reading other people's posts, reflecting and commenting on those, sharing some emotional intelligence and some empathy, and listening to others as you read their post online. Thanks for joining us in this second discussion board exercise. Have a great day.